Hello, you're on the channel where the darkest legends come to life, the most mysterious myths, and stories that make you look at the shadows differently. Today we'll journey into the depths of ancient Slavic beliefs, to places where time stands still and every whisper of the wind might be someone's voice. This is the story of the one who can protect or destroy. Today we'll talk about Berehynia. Imagine a world without technology, without electricity, without the noise of skyscrapers. Only nature, a sleeping forest, a river flowing silently, and among it all, a sense of presence, invisible, feminine, mighty. This is how the Slavs lived 1,000 years ago, and among all the forces they worshipped, there was one special one. Her name was whispered softly so as not to disturb her. She was never depicted openly, yet she was felt everywhere. She was the shore, the boundary, the guardian. She was Berehynia. They say she came from the most ancient times, even before the gods, before organized religions. She was a primal mother, a woman who connects earth and sky, not merely a spirit, but a force that watches, judges, and decrees. Berehynia is not simply a benevolent spirit, she is something more. She could protect a home if you respected her. She could guard a field if you honored it. But if you violated the laws of nature, she punished, and her punishment was terrifying. People said, "She watches over the rivers. She lives on the boundary between worlds." That's why peasants were afraid to build houses too close to the water. They feared walking along the shores at night, because that is her realm, on the edge between land and water, between life and death, between day and night, where the world becomes thin and silence grows unbearably loud. With the arrival of Christianity, people tried to eradicate Berehynia. Her image was considered pagan, dangerous, unclean. Yet she didn't disappear. She simply took on new forms. In the incantations of village-wise women, in the embroidery on ritual towels, in the songs of celebrations. She persisted. In the small figurines that decorated stoves, in the chants at festivals, she lived in silence, watching and waiting. Sometimes she was even equated with the Mother of God. Not because they were the same, but because both embodied feminine power that both protects and punishes. And here we come to the most intriguing part, because there are those who claim that Berehynia is not just a symbol or a myth. She is a real entity that manifests when her wrath is stirred. In the Policia region, there's a legend about a house by the river where an old herbalist once lived. When she died, the house was abandoned, but every night people heard footsteps, sounds of dripping water, and a soft whisper. It was said that Berehynia had returned because no one brought her offerings there anymore. One young man dared to spend the night in that house. He did not survive until morning. They found him in the river, his eyes filled with terror, as if he saw something that doesn't belong to this world. In Lviv region, there is a well that locals call the Woman's Well. If someone draws water from it after sunset, footsteps can be heard inside the house. And in the mirror, they say, a face appears, expressionless, feminine. Those who witnessed it either lost the ability to speak or they left the village forever. The symbol of Berehynia is a figure of a woman with her arms raised. People still embroider it today. But few know, this sign is not merely an ornament, it is a seal that holds back a certain power. There's a story about a fashion designer who used this symbol in her collection as a trendy element. She was unaware that it should not be placed on parts of the body that are exposed, especially on the back. A week later, she was in a car accident. Her car veered off a bridge and landed in the water, in the very place rumored to be Berehynia's domain. The designer survived, but she never worked creatively again. She said that, "I saw her while I was drowning." We tend to think that all these creatures are inventions. But why then do thousands of people across Ukraine report the same experiences? A woman in white, a figure standing by the river, a voice calling from the darkness. Why in many villages is it taboo to celebrate certain days by the water? Perhaps Berehynia is not just a memory. Perhaps she is a part of nature, its embodiment. And we are her children, grateful or treacherous, that is up to us. But she does not forget. And when someone destroys the land, disrespects their kin, mocks ancient symbols, she comes, not with screams, not with thunder, but silently, slowly, and without error. The story of Berehynia is not merely a fairy tale. It's a warning. It's a memory encoded in our blood. We can mock myths, build skyscrapers, but she will always stand on that boundary, on the border between the world we see and the one we do not want to see. Thank you for traveling with me today into this dark, mysterious realm. If you enjoyed this story, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Ahead lies many more forgotten myths, legends, and those who are waiting in the darkness to be remembered. Goodbye. And remember, not every Berehynia is benevolent, but every one of her is real.